sky fabric, my batting, and my backing all spray basted together. And then in the PDF I show you how you'll make a 6 by 24 inch rectangle and then dissect it along a hypotenuse and then place it like this. Now if you're using a commercial print, you're probably going to have to flip this over this way and then move it down here, and so you'll want to make sure you like the back side of your print, and if it's a little fainter, that'll be nice in the reflection. And then we want to cut 2 31-inch pieces, one 4 inches and one 2 inches, and this one is actually a little shorter, but anyway, it goes here, and you want to overlap quite a bit, about 1 inch, as you put those in there. And then this one about 1 inch like this. And so it will go off the piece a bit. So then we put this down, and this is about a 7.5 by 8.5 inch piece of scrap of canary yellow fabric, and the edges are just rounded. And so it goes about like that. And then we want to bring in our mountains, and they go lower rather than higher because we want half our piece to be sky. So we'll put that about like that. And then this piece, and as I say in the handout, all the selvedges should be on the end. And then we're gonna put this piece over here. And I left my selvedges on these two pieces, so I'm just sort of leaving them off the edge. We can trim that off when we're done. We don't want to sew off the quilt too much. It tends to break your thread and cause you to go a little wonky. But it's also nice to have a little extra if things shift on you. And then this piece goes across the bottom, and it goes like this. And that is the near bank where you're standing. This is the far shore, the dark part of the sky, the pink part, all of this sky. And one of the things that I think is handy to do is to make a nice dark chalk line down the center here, just to help you when you're doing things to realize. And because of the foreshortening, it's actually probably a little lower. So this is the basic layout, but of course you can shift things around any way that makes you happy. But I'm going to pin and baste quite a bit on this, maybe even more than I normally would. But I'm going to do one row of pins down the center, and I want to try to catch everything as I go. Okay, so you can see that I've pinned this in 5 rows of pins. I normally might only do 4, but it's probably a little bit nicer to have 5 rows of basting. In my bobbin, superior threads vanish, and in the top is just some run-of-the-mill all-purpose thread, and I'm working up on a table, so I use a lot of pins. If I was on a flatbed with a walking foot, I wouldn't need to pin as much. And I've got the longest stitch I have, needle down, 12 or 14 quilting needle, and I'm just going to go through. It's nice to see it get up to the pin and not have a big pucker. All right, I'm hitting the wall, so I'm just going to fold this back a little. Be careful folding with that many pins in there. It's very easy to poke yourself a little bit. And I think you could poke yourself pretty good if you tried hard enough. Let's go for the third one. Just kind of roll this up. This isn't really my favorite thing to do, but it really makes a difference when it comes time to make your piece. And you can see, I don't need to go straight. I just need to catch everything. Now, I am just going to flip this since I'm using my walking foot. If I didn't have a walking foot, I would need another strategy. I might free motion quilt these lines with the same threads, going for a very long stitch with bad tension that's loose on the bottom. I might hand baste like I did the mini. There are actually many ways you could do this if you didn't have a walking foot. Let me know if you want help strategizing or troubleshooting your setup. Now, my pins are facing the wrong direction, and so I'm awkwardly pulling them out with my left hand. And so you could pin two of your lines going a different direction if you wanted. I think it helps your creativity. Is that crazy for you to use your non-dominant hand for everyday tasks? Instead of crushing my work up against the wall and the lamp that I have back here, I fold it away to relieve any pressure on my needle and the feed dogs so they can do their jobs. But be careful of those pins. There are some activities for this lesson. Thanks. My pins